Los Angeles, Milan, and Essence Fest. Man, she is the founder of Catwalk with Keosha, a Houston-based modeling service, y'all, that empowers inspiring models through instruction, mentorship, and and career development. Y'all, welcome Keosha Samuel to the show. Let's show her some love. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm in the land of the living. I will not complain.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, how was 2025 treating you so far, and what have you learned, about 2025, when it comes to yourself?
2025 has been treating me well for the most part.
Okay.
I think one of the most valuable lessons I've learned about myself this year is everything is in God's timing.
Ooh, man, you can say that again.
I am a woman of structure, organization, planning, you name it. But if it's not the Lord's time to do that, it won't happen. So I'm just learning to kind of just sit and wait and be patient. Okay. You know how they say if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans? I'm sitting in that space right now. So I'm just waiting, working, and in faith.
Man, I love to hear that. Awesome, for real. So give us a little mini introduction about yourself, like, your social media, your website, how people can reach you, to book your services.
Okay, so my Instagram, which is the platform that I use the most, that is _, I think that's _ carrot top with a K. If you put in the C, you won't find me. I absolutely promise you. My Facebook is under my government name, which is Keosha Samuel. But if you type in carrot top with a K, you'll be able to find me there as well. TikTok _ I think that's carrot top with a K. And my website, catwalkwithkeosha.godaddy currently. So you'll find it. If you have any questions about where to find me, my links are also in my Instagram and they're also in my Facebook as well. So if you click that link tree, everything about Catwalk will show up.
Look at that. Now, she said carrot top with a K, y'all, not with a C.
Not with a C.
Please pay attention. But everything's going to be listed in this episode, of course. So what inspired you to get into modeling?
It actually wasn't an inspiration. I was strong-armed into modeling, and then the inspiration came later.
Wow.
So when I was in high school, my major ed coach at the time, we were doing a fashion show, and we were voluntold that we are going to do this fashion show.
Okay.
Mind you, I had never worn a pair of heels. I had never worn makeup, but I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And so I did do that fashion show in high school, and I liked it. It made me feel like I was dressing up to go play, and so that's what I did. And turns out I was naturally good at it. Especially compared to some of the other models that participated that day.
Okay.
And so I just kept at it. I started getting on YouTube. I started to go and see, like, what is this? And so I just continued that journey. And then when I got to college, it was the same thing. I volunteered to do a fashion show. And it was at that fashion show where I realized, like, hey, I really enjoy this. And so that's when I started to delve more into skills and, how am I going to navigate this journey? Okay. And so that was kind of how it happened. The inspiration didn't come until about 5 years ago when I decided that this was something that I was extremely happy doing. It didn't even feel like work anymore. So it became a passion over time.
So I'm talking about it, Jay. They say if it ain't your passion, then you ain't doing the right thing. Well, I just made that up, but it's okay though. So what made you, transition from modeling to becoming a model coach and launching Catwalk with Keosha?
So the transition itself, because first of all, I'm still a model.
Okay.
So I still do that.
Okay.
I'm actually making sure that people don't forget that I do still model.
Okay.
Because I don't cross the two. They're two totally, completely different services. But what made me launch Catwalk with Keosha was in my hometown from Memphis, Tennessee.
Represent.
The modeling community was very jaded.
Okay.
It was a biased community. It lacked a lot of professionalism, a lot of skill sets, a lot of connections, a lot of assets.
Okay.
And so I decided that I wanted to be the change that I wanted to see. So my business was basically founded on everything about the fashion industry that I didn't like. So I became the solution.
Okay.
Right.
Speak on it.
Right. So Catwalk with Keosha was the solution to a lot of the problems that were existing in that space, whether it be training models correctly, whether it be making fashion shows seamless for models, because as everybody knows, there's always things that goes on behind the scenes. Well, the public doesn't see what goes on behind the scenes. All they see is the show. But leading into those fashion shows, there are so many things that need to happen in order for the model's experience to be just as great as the participants that come to pay for the show. So I was basically just closing in all the gaps. It was a lot. It took a lot of structure. It took a lot of planning, organization. It took for me to also self-reflect. Like, as a model, what do I expect from an organization or production? And then what do I know that they expect from me? And so through all of that, Catwalk was born, and it has been quite the journey navigating it, because I know that it's a different type of business, because everybody's just kind of stuck at the basics, whereas I come with not only experience and expertise, I come with an advanced collection of what it looks like to do runway in spaces other than where you are. So I bring my experiences from every place that I've been. What have I seen? What have I been a part of? What can change? What can be better? And then I implement that into my business as well. So that was how Catwalk became about. I just became the answer.
Sheesh. Yo, talk about upliftment. Talk about just being graced with just the presence of God in all of what you do, man. Like, man, shout out to you for that. So how does Catwalk with Keosha differentiate itself in the modeling industry?
First and foremost, I can tell you that it differentiates because it's professional. From start to finish.
Okay.
I put the models first because I am a model first.
Okay.
So I don't come from a place where I only bend for the production. I'm an advocate first. So everything that I see that could dampen a model's experience, I negotiate that. Because it's not just about the people that are doing the show. It's not just about the designers. It's not just about the people that are coming to support. Those models deserve a seamless experience. On top of that, if they're doing it for free, I'm really going to be advocating because I need it to be as flawless as possible for them. So that's where the differentiation comes from. Furthermore, I care about everybody that's there. There's no one model that's above the others. There's no production that's above the models. Everybody there leaves with something that they can take to further themselves. So that's communication, that's rehearsals, that's fittings, everything that has anything to do with the model, you'll see me. You have to go through me.
Okay. Wow, man. Hey, you inspire me, man. I may just model myself. So, in what ways has being based in Houston shaped your approach to modeling and coaching?
I tell you what. I tell you what.
Come on, represent H-Town real quick.
Let me tell you. So a lot of people don't know, but I moved here for this specific mission. Houston will not be my last stop. However, because the market is so vast, and I know that it's multicultural, it's like a melting pot.
Yep.
There's so much going on here. There's so much to do. So many people, right? So what I like to do is make sure that everybody understands that that's what I came here to do. I'm not coming here to wing it. I didn't come here on a blank trip.
Okay.
It's planned, it's personal, it's intentional. It is very intentional. So what Houston has done for me is Houston has allowed me to get an experience that I didn't think that I would get. And one of those experiences that I would like to put at the top of my list, though, is one that allows me to be in a space where the market is competitive.
Okay.
It has allowed me to step out on a platform where I'm brand new. I'm a fresh face here. I'm only 2 years in.
Really?
Yes, I'm only 2 years. I've only been in Houston for 2 years.
Okay.
And so I'm a fresh face, and now I have to appeal to a market or a crowd where everyone doesn't look like me. Everybody doesn't dress like me. Everybody's not privy to my upbringing. Okay. It's a different, like I said, it's a melting pot. It's multicultural. So I'm having to figure out how can I reach crowds that I've never even touched. So it turns my grind up. It turns up my hustle. It actually turns up my research on where I am. You know what I mean? What lanes have already been created. And it's also forcing me again to self-reflect on how can I become more versatile in my marketing approach.
Okay. Hey, first of all, thank you for choosing Houston. Or God, thank you for bringing her here.
Right, because it was placed on me.
Yeah, there you go. I love to hear that, man, because Houston is definitely a place where all the food is at, all the people is at, the nightlife is there. Everything about Houston is just amazing. And people are just moving here left and right, I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
So can you share a success story where you coaching significantly impacted a model's career?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I have a model who's also now my best friend. Her name is Tanisha Wilson.
Okay.
She has grown in the space so much so that she doesn't walk the same. She doesn't talk the same. She doesn't present the same. Through her, I've learned and made my mistakes. She was basically like, she was like a testing point for me. Everything that I want to present, everything that I want to give to everyone else, I've given to her first. And through her and through those experiences, she's learned, she's grown, not just as a model, but as a person, because the brand itself enriches you from the inside out. And so I get to see in real time all the areas that she's grown in, even in her work. She's also internationally published. That had nothing to do with me. Okay. But just seeing the way that she used to pose for pictures and seeing them now, Catwalk contributed a lot to her growth. And so I get to see it manifest through her.
Okay. Sheesh. So what are some recurring obstacles you observe among aspiring models, and how do you address them?
Lack of knowledge. Lack of knowledge. The way that I like to present to those newer models that are coming in is you don't start on the runway.
Okay.
You don't start with putting your shoes on and walking, which is where a lot of the coaches start them. I see a lot of workshops, and all they're doing is showing them how to put one foot in front of the other, do a turn, and get back down the runway. But the business itself doesn't start there. You have to know exactly where you're going, what you're doing, who you're doing it for, and what exactly it is that they expect from you. So the business part of it, it doesn't start on the runway. It starts in spaces like this, where we sit down and we discuss what are your career goals, what can I do to help you navigate that? Because it's not enough to just be great on the runway. You have to be business savvy as well. You have to know what spaces you're walking in. You have to be able to know what to say, because sometimes it may not be what you do. It may be what you say that'll ruin an opportunity, your lack of knowledge, the things that they expect you to already know coming through the door. Okay. So for me, I'm going to sit you down. We're going to have a conversation, and we're going to discuss how I can better assist you in what you're trying to do. Now, mind you, earlier I told you that this is a passion of mine.
Okay.
So much so a passion that I don't have to monetize it.
Mm.
That's how passionate I am about this particular thing.
Sheesh.
However, I'm gonna get my money.
Facts.
But I'm not one of those coaches that's money grabbing.
Okay.
My bills will get paid whether or not you pay me to do what I'm doing for you, but I get rewarded in just basically watching you grow.
Man, that speaks volumes for real. And I feel like a lot of times, you know, people forget that. They're so worried about getting to the money that they forget about the real reasons why they did what they did.
Absolutely.
And, you know, for you to say that and for you to tap into that, to also be a woman of your word and actually do that, and, you know, it just shows the integrity and just shows, you know, who you are and, you know, how you handle business, you know. So, you know, really appreciate that about you for real. So why do you believe mentorship is crucial in the modeling industry?
It saves you time. It saves you money. It saves you poor experiences.
Okay.
Because you get protected. Overall, this business is one that will eat you up and spit you out. There's very few things that are in place to protect the models.
Okay.
Very few. And a model that is ignorant to anything that has to do with whatever it is that they're being asked to do, they become victims in many ways. Not just of scams, not just of being taken advantage of, not just their work and time, but there's a lot of sexual abuse. There's a lot of implications where they will be, you know, told that they're doing one thing and then they get in these spaces and they're sexually intimidated as well. I mean, it's just so many occurrences that I feel like if models knew better, if they knew what signs to look for, they just wouldn't be in those situations. Not to negate the fact that the predators are who they are.
Okay.
I'm not excusing them and their behaviors and what they do.
Facts.
But if the model just knew a little bit more, if they knew that certain verbiage meant certain things, if they knew that not having a particular sentence in their contracts meant that they're not protected, maybe if they knew that this particular person had a history of these types of behaviors, they wouldn't be in situations where they're having to defend themselves, whether it be verbally, physically, emotionally, mentally, because it does have some damage, not only on them, but their reputations as well when they mix in crowds where they needed protection.
Okay. And you know, it's wild that you say that, because it's like, you know, I would think that a lot of them will keep quiet because they're trying to make it. You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely good that you say that. And then the mentorship also, you said, saves you time and also saves you, pretty much a lot of time, you know, because you have somebody that did this over the time of 5-6 years, and you can get all of that within the time of 3 to 6 months.
Absolutely.
So I definitely believe in buying into mentorships and also just, investing in yourself, because that's the way that I look at it.
Right.
You're investing in yourself. How have you seen the modeling industry change over the years, especially concerning diversity and inclusion?
I was about to tell you diversity and inclusion. However, I will also say that diversity and that inclusion is still very limited. It's still very limited. I've seen it change just because now there's a lot more representation of what the average everyday American will look like. One thing that I like to say is that designers that only scout a certain type of model make it make sense, because if a model looked one way and this was what you wanted to represent you, but another person looked another way and they wanted to buy what you're selling, you wouldn't tell them you don't want their money.
Yeah, facts.
You would sell because you want the money.
Yeah.
So diversity and inclusion itself has gotten better over the years. Mind you, I'm one of those models that is very untraditional. Okay. I have tattoos. I know that I'm wearing platforms today, which make me about 5'8", 5'9", but I am 5'4" I have an athletic build. So I don't look like many runway models that you would think are the powerhouses or the faces of runway today. I'm actually the exact opposite. I'm actually the exact opposite. So I do benefit from the diversity and the inclusion. However, because there's always a however, there's always a but.
Yeah, I was waiting for it.
I have been in those spaces where I have been told you would have been amazing, but you're not tall enough. I've been in those spaces where your hair, we just can't, we can't, we can't use you because of your hair.
So how do you move past that? You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to hearing stuff like that, and maybe it was like one of your dream type of, modeling gigs or something. Like how do you push past that?
I use it as fuel.
Okay.
That's why I'm not quiet about it. Because I guarantee you one day there will be a time where those people will look back and say, we could have made it work with her. We should have. We could have, but we chose not to. I pride myself on being the one that got away, always. And even though I know that there are so many people out here that do what I do, I just know that I'm that one. That one.
Talk your noise, man. We love to hear that, for real. Not gonna lie. So what key qualities do you instill in your models to prepare them for the industry demands?
In no particular order.
Okay.
Confidence. You have to walk in there knowing that whatever it is that you're going for is already yours, even if you don't get it.
Okay.
Prepare for disappointment, because you may not get that opportunity, but that's fine, because that no was it was really a not right now. It wasn't a solid, definitive no, just a not yet.
Okay.
Number 3, you have to be able to own that space. Sure enough, there could be 300 models that's showing up to do the exact same thing that you're doing. Don't look at it like you're sharing the runway with anybody. When you're on it, it's yours. You command that room with just your presence. You don't even have to say a word.
Okay.
And lastly, I think that I would instill in them is a fearless mentality, because you get nowhere with fear. You get nowhere with being scared about what will happen. I'm not going to do it because I'm fearful of the outcome. No, you do it. And whatever you learn from it, because you don't take losses.
Yeah.
They're lessons.
Lessons, okay.
No losses, just lessons. You continue to move forward.
And I definitely want to piggyback on the confidence, you know what I'm saying? Because there's some people that you can look at and you see them walking and you be like, man, that person is walking with purpose.
Absolutely.
So I definitely agree with the confidence, because you got to have it. Because if you don't, people smell it. People smell the fear. People smell the lack of confidence and faith that you have in yourself.
Absolutely.
So I definitely agree with that. So what types of content do you recommend models focus on to attract the right opportunities?
It depends on what lane of modeling they want to do. Now, it's so vast. Dear God. There's so many different types of modeling that exist. When I hear someone say that they're a model, the next question, the follow-up is always, what type? What type? Because you have models that do, we'll just dumb it down.
Okay.
There's models that do pictures. There's models that do runway. There's models that do anything, video-wise, commercials, things like that. Within those pots, there's 5, 10, 15 other different types of modeling that's bottled within that.
That's crazy.
I know. And so sometimes they cross. Sometimes you have models that do pictures, they do runway as well, and they do anything where there's a camera. Problem with that is hardly ever are they actually fluid in performing well in all of those areas. So I would like to know, what type of model are you?
Okay.
Because when I see you and you're performing in those respective areas, I already have an expectation of what I would like for you what type of skill set I'm expecting for you to have. And sometimes it can be something as simple as the way they take their first few steps. I'm like, oh, the way that they pose at the end of the runway tells me a lot. Because trust me, it is. Runway is, my opinion, runway is the only type of modeling that you can do where we can either see your mistakes or your purpose in real time.
Hey.
You don't get a do-over. Once you hit that runway, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
When you're taking your pictures and you're doing whatever you're doing, they can shoot you 500 shots and they'll tell you pick 3 where you think that you're perfect.
Sheesh.
If you're doing commercial and print, they can restart you. Oh, she messed up, restart. Something didn't happen, restart. Oh, your earring fell out, restart. If that happens when you walking down the runway, that's it. That's it. You have to figure out how you're gonna get past that. Oh, I misstepped. You're gonna have to figure out how you're gonna get the earring that fell off the runway so that the next person behind you doesn't trip and fall on it. You have to figure out how you're gonna make up for those mistakes. But even in that, you only get one chance to do it.
God, gee, man, that's a lot of pressure. That's just a lot of things running through your mind. It's kind of like, I kind of see it like the way when I'm driving. When I'm driving, of course, out here in Houston, you driving for everybody else, right? So, I'm looking at how fast I'm going. I'm looking at my tire pressure. I'm looking about how much gas I got. I'm looking at all my mirrors. I'm all over the place, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to make sure that I am safe and whoever I got in my car is safe with me. So I can just imagine walking down the runway like you only got one shot. So you either take that risk and go all in, or you just go halfway and sell yourself short.
Absolutely.
So, man, that is definitely amazing. So where do you see Catwalk with Keosha in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, I see Catwalk being one of the leading model coordinating coaching services in wherever I decide to be.
Okay.
For me, it's a plan that I'm executing in phases.
Okay.
And I know that it will take time, it'll take resources, it'll take me to continue my modeling journey as well, because the more I learn, the more I'm able to instruct other models that are coming behind me. Those that look to me for guidance, I want to be fully prepared to be able to lead in a transparent way that doesn't hinder my own growth and success. I would like for Catwalk to be spoken about in many cities. I would like for Catwalk to be able to tour and not just do the minimum runway shops. I want to actually be one to educate and to be one to train, to be one to mentor. And I would also like to have a staff that shares the same values to assist me in this journey as well. Because right now I am a one-woman show. Everything is done from my brain. But I would like to be able to employ models, like I said, that do share the same vision as me, to be able to come along this journey and to help spread what it is I'm trying to do.
Amen. And that's going to happen for sure, by his grace. And everything's going to be aligned according to the purpose that he has called you for sure. So, with everything that you're doing with the modeling and just day-to-day life, like, what does self-care look like to you?
That self-care. So I haven't been big on self-care. And I think that's just due to I adopted hustle culture long ago. I'm one of those that used to believe, oh, I'll sleep when I'm dead. It's all about whatever it is I'm trying to do. So I'm just now starting to adopt self-care habits. And I think for me, what self-care looks like is being in places where I can be still. So that would be my living room, maybe my backyard, where I can just sit and just listen to nature. I can kind of sit with my thoughts,
Okay.
sit with my plans, and in those moments as well, I'm just kind of running down everything that I'm thankful for. So that self-care can be just having a conversation with God and seeing whatever it is I need to do next, but it would mean that I'm idle. It's me sitting, doing absolutely nothing. To some people, it may look like, she's doing nothing. She's just chilling. But in those moments of self-care, I'm literally decompressing. Everything that I've been thinking about or going through or whatever it is, I'm just idle and just kind of soaking in, stopping everything else that's going on around me and just being present in that moment, because I know that I live a life that requires me to always have to think ahead.
Okay, man, and that's excellent, and I'm just tapping into self-care myself, with the traveling and just, taking time to myself, because I'm always the type that I'm always giving, what I'm saying? So now it's time for me to just take care of myself. So, man, that concludes our episode of the Dannyola Show. I want to just say, man, I pray that God continue to bless you, that you continue to elevate, and that you continue to motivate and inspire others through your journey. I'm definitely feeling the hat and the shirt. I forgot to say that, y'all. Man, thank you again for coming on this show and just blessing us with your presence. So that concludes this episode of the Dannyola Show, where we don't judge, we love, we appreciate, we educate, and we elevate. Yet again, we got Keosha Samuel, and we are